There has never been an American president like Donald Trump. Even by politician standards, he is a completely brainless moron. Much confirms the same truth. In fact, it's been much worse than normal. It's been a Trump masterclass of incompetence, delusion, and war crimes. Every speech reveals a new layer of ignorance. Every decision proves he has no idea what he's doing. Every day his mental state deteriorates further. Picking just 10 moments for this list was genuinely painful. Not because the moments were hard to find, but because there were so many fighting for space. Trump's propaganda machine is on full power this month, but that won't save him. Americans have had enough. His polls are collapsing, and the midterms are coming. You might be thinking, won't Trump sue you for this? But I don't care. If Trump wants to prove me wrong, the courthouse is open. I'll be waiting. One of the reasons I started this series is because the media is way too soft on Trump. They let him get away with anything and everything. Leaders, especially the leader of the so-called free world, should be held to the highest standards. Mainstream media has failed us all. That's why I document these dumb moments, to demand accountability, to inform the good people of the world, to warn them about how dangerous Trump truly is. If you think that matters, and I believe you do, otherwise you wouldn't still be watching, then subscribe, like the video, and share. As always, thank you so much for the love and support. Now starting off with number 10.
Every one of their mine drop, they call it the mine layers, right? The ships, they're pretty sophisticated ships. Every one of them is gone, but it only takes one. So it's a little unfair. You know, you win a war, but they have no right to be doing what they're doing. But we're hitting them very hard, and today is a big day where we're pounding a certain area that...
Unfair? It's unfair to defend yourself now? Unfair is launching a war while peace negotiations were still on the table. Unfair is assassinating most of the Iranian leadership. Unfair is bombing homes, schools, hospitals, desalination plants, and heritage sites. Thanks to Trump, thousands are dead and millions have been displaced. But it's Iran who's unfair. Make no mistake, this is Trump's war. He wanted a quick victory to boost his polls and save himself for the midterms. Instead, he's stuck in a war of attrition. 13 American soldiers have died, and now Trump is desperately looking for a ceasefire. Do you know what's really unfair? The fact that Trump looked at the American people in the eye, made them promises he never intended to keep, and has spent every day in office since making their lives harder and his donors richer. It's unfair that working Americans are being crushed by gas prices and food bills that keep climbing, while Trump hands tax breaks to billionaires, cuts social welfare, and starts pointless illegal wars. It's unfair that the Constitution is being methodically dismantled by a man who has the Supreme Court in his pocket, Congress neutralized, and near unlimited power. Trump is a terrorist. He has no right to complain about fairness. Now number 9. Is he serious? How out of touch can he be? Trump's platform was built on 2 promises: lower prices and be a peacemaker. He's failed at both, spectacularly. Oil prices have jumped from $70 before the war, now to $100. That means the price of everything goes up. Your groceries, your heating bill, your gas. Gas prices have increased by an average of $1 a gallon. In California, it's now past $6 a gallon. Let me ask you something. Do you get rich when gas prices go up? Of course not. But somebody did get richer. Who? Big oil and their shareholders, who happen to be some of Trump's biggest donors. Every opportunity Trump gets, he makes his donors richer at the expense of Americans. Trump promised to lower prices on day 1. He's been back for more than a year now, and he's failed horribly. And guess who he's blaming? Biden, of course. Moving on to number 8.
The administration is working every single day to make America better, safer, and more prosperous for women and men, but much more importantly for women. And they are really the inspiration. They are so powerful and so important and so beautiful. I'm not allowed to use the word beautiful, but I'm using it anyway. Usually it's the end of your political career. If you say a woman's a beautiful woman, they say that's the termination of his career, but somehow it hasn't hurt too much. You're incredible women and you're beautiful women. Well, we're...
Another shameless Trump moment during Women's History Month as well. It's been 100 days since the DOJ's deadline to release the full Epstein files. 3 million documents are still unreleased. Trump still hasn't answered for his crimes. Have we forgotten that Trump is a serial sexual predator, accused of sexual harassment by dozens of women, multiple rapes, including raping children? Over decades, more than 20 women have accused Trump of unwanted touching, harassment, and sexual assault, and he has not suffered a single consequence for it, yet, unless you count hush money, which, let's be honest, is just a slap on the wrist for a billionaire like Trump. When Jean Carroll accused Trump of SA, Trump said he'd never met her, and that she wasn't his type. What kind of bloody defense is that? And Trump has bragged about grabbing women by their private parts, just because he's famous. Trump has also had multiple affairs throughout his life, including one while Melania Trump was pregnant. He had his ex-wife buried on one of his golf courses to avoid property taxes. Back when he owned Miss Universe organization, he would enter the dressing rooms of underage girls while they were changing. And his current wife was introduced to him by Epstein as well, mind you. Beyond all this, he loves to bully and humiliate female journalists, calling them ugly, stupid, nasty, obnoxious, even piggy one time. This guy has no respect for women. Don't let him gaslight you otherwise. There's a reason those files are still buried. Okay, number 7.
And say, this is about ISIS. So, I mean, how do you get into the mindset of this? How do you stop it?
They're sick people, and a lot of them were let in here. They shouldn't have been let in. Others are just bad. They go bad. Something wrong. There's something wrong there.
So
the genetics are not exactly, they're not exactly your genetic. It's one of those problems, Brian. It's a terrible thing, and it happens. And it happens too often.
Okay, Trump moving like a Nazi pseudoscientist did surprise me. It was only last month when Trump posted a racist post of the Obamas. Instead of apologizing, he's just doubled down. Of course, now that Trump's poll numbers are a complete shambles, even his core base is wavering, he must play the immigrant card. Immigration is a good thing for America, and a good thing for Trump himself. America is a nation built by immigrants. Trump himself is married to an immigrant, and the son of an immigrant. You might not know this, but in the summer of 1980, Trump had 200 Polish workers, some of whom were undocumented, break ground for his Trump Tower. These workers were paid well below the normal union wage rate, worked very long shifts, and lacked safety equipment. Some suffered injuries on the job, and they were regularly paid late. Trump promised to get them paid, but then later denied responsibility. His lawyers threatened to involve INS, the precursor of ICE, if the workers pressed the issue. We all know most immigrants are law-abiding people, looking for a better life for themselves and their families. But Trump needs a villain, a scapegoat, because if you're looking at immigrants, you're not looking at the real criminals behind the cost of living crisis, the unaffordable housing, the failing job market, the corruption running unchecked through every level of his administration. Just look right now. Trump wants to spend $200 billion bombing Iran when he could use that money to help Americans. He has no money for Medicaid and food benefits and Obamacare subsidies. But for war, for his donors and billionaire buddies, the treasury is bottomless. Demonizing immigrants also helps Trump justify state violence and mass deportations. It conditions people to accept cruelty as policy. Let's not forget as well, many immigrants come from war zones, failed states, and countries with zero opportunities. But why do people leave in the first place? Why do entire countries collapse into poverty, violence, and desperation? Could one factor be decades of US imperialism? The CIA coups that toppled democratically elected governments? The brutal dictators America installed? The proxy wars funded to protect corporate interests? America destabilizes entire regions for profit, then acts shocked when people show up at your border looking for the right to live a normal life. The hypocrisy is staggering. If immigrants are such a problem, don't start wars all over the world. Number 6. This is poor and classless, but not surprising from Trump. You know, both Mueller and Trump came from privileged families, except while Trump dodged the Vietnam draft 5 times, Mueller served with distinction in Vietnam, earning a Bronze Star and a Purple Heart. All Trump got was the purple bone spur. Mueller was a public servant for most of his life. He spent decades at the Department of Justice. He was even involved in the Watergate investigation. Later he became the director of the FBI, leading it through 9/11 and the War on Terror. So why does Trump hate him? Why celebrate his passing? Because Mueller led the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 elections. Trump called the investigation a witch hunt. He said Mueller was disgraceful and highly conflicted, despite Mueller's reputation for integrity and non-partisanship. Trump supporters even sent death threats to Mueller and his family, just for doing his job. But it's not just Mueller. Anybody who tries to hold Trump to account is immediately blasted as some traitor, even his once close allies. Just look at Marjorie Taylor Greene or Thomas Massie. Trump expects blind loyalty. When Trump dies, he just gave the world a license to celebrate guilt-free. Some people say Trump has the world's most anticipated obituary. Number 5.
Tomahawk missile likely destroyed that Iranian girls' school. So will the U.S. accept any responsibility?
Well, I haven't seen it, and I will say that the Tomahawk, which is one of the most powerful weapons around, is used by, is sold and used by other countries, you know that. And whether it's Iran, who also has some Tomahawks, I wish they had more, but whether it's Iran or somebody else, the fact that a Tomahawk is very generic, it's sold to other countries, but that's being investigated right now.
This is a straight-up lie. Trump keeps spinning nonsense like we're illiterate. The gaslighting related to the girls' school in Minab, Iran, where 168 children were killed, is utterly shameless. First, Trump said he didn't know anything and stayed silent. Later, when it was revealed a Tomahawk missile hit the school, he claimed Tomahawks are very generic and that it could have belonged to anyone. But the US only sells Tomahawks to 4 countries: the UK, Australia, Japan, and the Netherlands. None of them are at war with Iran. Then he doubled down and suggested Iran bombed their own school. Trump suggested that Iran murdered their own children as a false flag operation to make America look bad. Absolutely depraved. Now a US military investigation has confirmed it was the United States that bombed the school. But Trump still hasn't apologized, and he never will. When Trump isn't abusing children, he's starving and bombing them. And by the way, the Trump administration slashed funding and staff at the Civilian Protection Center, which is a program that's specifically designed to help reduce civilian casualties during US military operations. They dismantled the system designed to protect those very children. This administration is criminal through and through. 168 children are dead, and the man responsible is out there playing golf. Shame requires a conscience, and this man doesn't possess one. Number 4.
Mr. President.
Something that people care about. Yeah, what did you say? Go ahead.
What would you say to the survivors who feel
you are the worst reporter. No wonder CNN has no ratings because of people like you. You know, she's a young woman. I don't think I've ever seen you smile. I've known you for 10 years. I don't think I've ever seen a smile in your face. You know why? You know why you're not smiling? Because you know you're not telling the truth, and you're a very dishonest organization, and they should be ashamed of you. Okay, go ahead.
Trump and CNN have history between them, but he's avoiding an answer to a completely reasonable question. Trump hates journalists who do their jobs, who try to hold him accountable, who refuse to be his propaganda mouthpiece. Is smiling appropriate when asking such a question? This guy is full of hate and is turning America into a hateful country. Maybe Trump's just furious his Iran war hasn't distracted us from his Epstein crimes. Anytime a reporter asks about Epstein, Trump snaps at them. He deflects. This is not the behavior of an innocent man. If he is so innocent, why not release the full files? Why redact so much material? Release them, show us you're innocent, clear your name. But he won't, because he can't. All Trump is doing is exposing his guilt. His distractions aren't working. His lies aren't sticking. His cover-up is falling apart. The survivors deserve justice, and the world deserves the truth. Number 3.
Very well for you.
Iran today accused the U.S. of hitting a desalination plant in Iran, and they said that might open the door to other strikes on infrastructure, non-military.
Allow us to also open the door to other strikes against them. Look,
Can you respond to that allegation? Did the U.S. hit a desalination?
They are among the most evil people ever on earth. They cut babies' heads off. They chop women in half. What they did, take a look at October 7th. Take a look at what they've done over the last 47 years. So I know nothing about a desalination plant other than to say if they're complaining about a desalination plant, we complain about the fact that they shouldn't be chopping babies' heads off, okay?
How does one lie so blatantly, so shamelessly? Where the hell did he get this from? Trump is a serial war criminal and child abuser. Why is he acting so high and mighty, pretending to be so innocent and honorable? Trump is deranged. He is the one killing school children and women. Already 3,000 civilians have died, including over 300 children. He bombed a desalination plant that provides water for 30 villages. It wasn't a military target, it was civilian infrastructure. And then he had the audacity to accuse Iran. Projection. Always projection. This war was never about liberating the people of Iran or about destroying Iran's nuclear program. It's just a smokescreen. Trump knows his regime is failing. The cost of living is still out of control. Housing is still unaffordable. The job market is a disaster. Inequality is everywhere. Corruption is rampant. Tax dollars are being wasted on wars, while Americans can't afford food or rent or healthcare. And federal debt has now surpassed $39 trillion. Trump is just trying to generate outrage to justify this illegal war and distract Americans from his failures. The Iranian regime are certainly not angels, but how can you claim such a disgusting lie? Let's not forget, Trump, the peace president, has bombed 7 countries since his return. He's killed more than 150 people in the Caribbean Sea, without due process, without trial, accusing them of drug trafficking. He kidnapped Maduro and assassinated Khamenei. He might even start a ground invasion of Iran. He's not only an international terrorist, but a domestic one also, illegally sending the National Guard and ICE to terrorize American cities, killing and detaining innocent people. Trump is a war criminal, a child abuser and child killer, and he has the nerve to lecture anyone about morality. Number 2.
With a low IQ person, because Gavin Newsom has admitted that he has learning disabilities. Honestly, I'm all for people with learning disabilities, but not for my president. I think a president should not have learning disabilities, okay? And I know it's highly controversial to say such a horrible thing. The President of the United States, Gavin Newsom, admitted that he has learning disabilities, dyslexia, everything about him is dumb.
Did you catch that? Gavin Newsom is now the President of the United States. Yes, Trump just said that while insulting Newsom's intelligence, mocking his disability. If an idiot like Trump could be elected, why should someone with dyslexia be unfit? Trump, the sitting president, forgot that he's the president. If you can't remember someone else isn't the president, when you are the president, you are dumb as hell. Trump is the dumbest president in history. He can barely read himself. He has the vocabulary of a 9-year-old and the temperament of a 4-year-old. He is a serial liar, a convicted felon, and a fraud. It's so obvious that Trump feels threatened by Newsom. He's clearly projecting. There are many studies that show people with dyslexia are in fact incredibly intelligent. Albert Einstein himself had dyslexia. Dyslexia primarily affects reading and writing. It's not a measure of intelligence. Trump just shows his ignorance again. Instead of focusing on policy or qualifications, he chooses to attack someone's disability. Trump has single-handedly destroyed respect in politics. He ruthlessly and relentlessly attacks his opponents. After Biden was diagnosed with cancer, Trump told people not to feel sorry for him and called Biden vicious. He posted the Obamas as apes, then later deleted it, blamed it on a staffer, and refused to apologize. He celebrated Robert Mueller's death. Trump also said, The greatest enemy America has is the radical left, highly incompetent Democrat Party. He thrives by stoking hate and division, because when people are angry and divided, they're easier to manipulate. The sad thing is, it works. Millions of Americans worship him while he tears the country apart. Finally, number 1.
Again, and we just keep going with it. And I put that down as a top 3. Look, no mail-in. Now, you have the exceptions for the military, and I would even say foreign-based military. But for the military, for disability, for illness, and if you're traveling, you have an excuse. And I was lenient on that. But those 3 things. Then I added 2 more. These are best of, best of. These are called best of Trump. We should also add on to this bill. And so what I've asked Mike to do is to draw a new one with these few things added. And let's go for the gold. Let's not just get one like voter ID, but, it can be given to you by your daughter. Your daughter, she has to be of age, like above 6 years old, she's allowed to say. You had to see some of this stuff is so bad. They're doing everything possible because they know if we get this, they probably won't win an election for 50 years, okay? And maybe longer. And they're going to fight like hell.
We know Trump loves rambling on tangents. But this Freudian slip is beyond disturbing. Above 6? Above 6? How can anyone defend this? Normal people do not say these things. Either Trump's brain has melted, or he's a depraved pedophile, or maybe, probably, both. Congress needs to grow a spine, and either impeach him, or invoke the 25th Amendment. His dementia is getting worse day by day. This man is commander-in-chief. He has the nuclear codes. The Epstein files must be released, and trials must begin. It's intolerable how Trump can commit such terrible crimes and continue being president. He should be locked away for life, far away from children, far away from politics. In Europe, investigations have already started. Many of Epstein's old associates have already been dismissed or resigned in disgrace. Yet in the US, nothing has happened. When Pam Bondi was asked, "How many Epstein accomplices have you charged or investigated?" she responded with, The Dow is over 50,000. This entire criminal cabinet must be punished, prosecuted, tried, convicted. So there you have it, another month of madness. But even this month was exceptional. Every single day, Trump proves he's unfit for office. Endless lies and crimes, broken promises, humiliating gaffes, economic disasters. And yet, he's still the president, still bombing countries, still grifting, still lying to your face. But Trump isn't untouchable. The midterms are 7 months away. 7 months until Americans can finally humble Trump. But 7 months is an eternity when we're watching a war criminal with dementia. Let's hope we don't have to wait that long. When Trump is finally dragged out of the White House, and he will be, the world needs to remember exactly what he did. He can't escape justice. He can't rewrite history. He can't gaslight his way out of this. The evidence is piling up. His approval is in freefall. Democrats are sweeping off-year elections across the country. And when Congress flips, when the investigations restart, when the trials begin, Trump will have nowhere left to hide. The Epstein survivors deserve justice. The Iranian children he murdered deserve justice. The families of American soldiers he sent to die deserve justice. Trump's time is running out. Thank you so much for watching and supporting our independent channel. Make sure you subscribe and leave a like, so you never miss a video. Take care and we shall see you again soon.